What's up YouTube, Smack is back. You guys have no idea how much I missed y'all. It's been a while since we've done a proper sit-down theory video. Wanna know why? Because firstly, I am busy as heck. Secondly, I want to start facecam videos so that my videos becomes more interesting because I feel like it would add more personality to the video itself. So that's what I want to do in the future. So here's the deal, 15k subscribers and we'll start facecam videos and facecam let's plays as well. So make sure to subscribe and join our Discord server, link in description. Anyways, forget all of that nonsense. Today we are taking a quick look at Life is Strange 2 episode 4 teaser. Now I really wanted to do Life is Strange 2 episode 3 a review video first, just to get everything out of my system, then make a video on episode 4 explanation, but like I said, timing, it is a mess out here. So anywho, episode 3, shocking, surprising, action-packed, everything, you name it. However, episode 4 teaser was more than just, ooh, I wonder what's gonna happen next, because not only did episode 4 give us hint as where the story is leading to, but also showed that now it's not how things were going from episode 1 to 3. So let's take a look at the teaser itself.
This is it, son. You're toast. End of the road. No way out this time. We got a lot of room in jail for cop murderers like you. You're alone now. Alone.
Okay, so already we're seeing a change in the location. As number 1, as we know, we move from location to location from episodes. Number 2, no sign of Daniel, as we've seen in episode 3 ending, he was absent. Number 3, Sean is alone. And number 4, and the most important one, is the unknown officer telling us that there are a lot of room for cop murderers. Obviously, Sean is still a running fugitive. So here are a few things we need to understand and remember that we've learned from episode 3 before we actually start theorizing episode 4 itself. Number 1 is our relationship with our brother. Episode 3 showed a fantastic side, although debatable ways, the relationship between Sean and Daniel. We've seen that Daniel felt that Sean doesn't care about him no more and hangs out with Cassidy even more, hence a weak link there. We've seen in the ending that Daniel blames Cassidy for everything that has happened. We also see Finn and Daniel relation being strong, so already Sean and Daniel were getting apart. However, in the ending, when Daniel lashed out either because of you or at you, regardless, he will make a mess out of everything, ending in everyone being injured. Well, that is if spoilers, your Finn is dead. But the real shocker was this part when camera slowly panned towards Sean's face and we saw the massacre on his face, as he already got bruises from previous incidents. However, there was this big glass that was right in his freaking eye, leaving no room for that eye to heal anytime soon, let alone seeing from it. Sean is one eyeless now. However, in the same ending, we saw an absence of Daniel. What happened there? What's going on? Is a mystery as we speak. However, it was interesting for them to not show him at all, even though it was a little bit same incidents when his dad died, but this time he had control and he knew that he has powers. So this is gonna be interesting. Now we know what's going on. We need to have one more point before we move on. In episode 3, Penny, one of the characters that we met and stayed with while we were working at some weed farm, Penny mentioned how the police have took next step in searching for fugitives. He didn't said that explicitly or specifically, but the moral of that part of his conversation meant this clearly. It was obvious that they're still looking for us. A cop died, of course they're not gonna sit down and do nothing. Also, it's been more than a month since we've been in those woods. Secondly, Meryl knew about the brothers' situation, hence there was always this threat of either Meryl or someone else from his side calling cops on us. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, because of that massacre that happened in the ending, police might get more clues to catch us, and this is where things things gets interesting. So you guys remember a character named Jacob from episode 3. He was staying with us in this camp. One of the key things from his conversation was that he's trying to find himself and that in search for truth, he met these people. However, it wasn't until he found out about Daniel's powers when he started to act all shaky and fuzzy, and as Sean would say, cosmic BS. There's one more person, and that is Meryl's bodyguard, Big Joe, or as Daniel would say, Big Joke. He don't know about the powers specifically, however, it was morning anyway. So either you alarmed him while you were taking his trucks or not, there is a chance he would come here to look into matters. And what he would found is not something that he expected. We're gonna go into 3 theories that could explain episode 4 teaser very well. The first one was actually got into my head thanks to @SeanDiazStan from Twitter. Now I'm not sure if this was the person who actually came up with the theory, but I've seen them being the first one to came up with this theory. I had some thinking about it, so here we go. Now we know where things are going from here. I mentioned Jacob earlier. He's the only one alive and not injured. Pay attention to this part, that he's the only one alive and not injured who knows about Daniel's powers. Because remember, he had a sister whose birthday letter was the thing in episode 3, and he felt that Daniel's powers meant something religiously. People are theorizing that Sean is gonna end up in Nevada because Jacob is from Nevada, but I'm not concerned about the location itself, for now at least. But it does make sense for them to end up there using train, but let's keep going. Let's get to episode 4 teaser and decode it. There are a couple of routes we can go with this. Number 1, let's keep going with the Jacob route first. You see, there is no doubt that there's still some religious stuff left in him. Daniel would leave the place thinking that because of the powers and because he lashed out, he killed everybody, and in seek of help he would go back to the camp to ask help. However, the only people that know about his powers are either dead or injured, except one. And that's right, it is Jacob. He could use the religious truth excuse, or in Jacob's mind, he would take this as a truth that he was looking for. He can easily believe that this is why he left his family and group for this, and now that Jake and Daniel are alone, Nevada, going back, is your way to go. Now you might be thinking, he said it explicitly that he don't want to go back. Yeah, sure, but think about it. He was rejected by the community, and to redeem himself, he could show them Daniel and his powers, and that is one of the ways to look at the situation, hence leading Sean to find that his brother has left with Jacob, and the first thing that would come in his mind is going to Nevada, which is very interesting because Jacob didn't get killed, and he was the only one apart from Finn and Cassidy who knew about the powers. And I found it really interesting that Don't Nod showed us these 3 because it makes sense for Cassidy and Finn to find out about Daniel's powers, but not Jacob. We didn't have that much connection with Jacob, so I found it really interesting that Don't Nod went that route. Either they have big plans for him in episode 4, which totally makes sense, otherwise that would have been stupid, but feel free to discuss it in the comments. That is one of the many explanations, but let's try to see this from different angles. This is where Daniel's part comes in. This could be separate, this could work out with previous theory point. So in episode 3, when Daniel asks Sean about their mother, regardless of what you choose, either way Daniel will say, how come I never get to choose? I'm the one with the powers. Following later with, who cares about Puerto Lobos? This is fascinating because Daniel has stuck with gotta find mom's route, while Sean is the opposite. But now in episode 3, now that Daniel has established he can do whatever he wants, as judging from the ending, it is clear that he thinks that everyone is dead, and now he gotta find mom. If you match that up with previous point, Daniel ending up with the Jacob in Nevada, and as mentioned before, regarding some religious stuff, there is a high possibility that we could end up meeting Daniel in some sort of church, since that's where the things are leading towards for the time being. However, how Daniel would end up with Jacob in the first place, well, as said earlier, Daniel wants to meet his mom, and Jacob could use that and play Daniel by telling him that we'll go and meet your mother, but instead he would take him to his church group, either to redeem himself or make him all as, oh, he's the demon, or we gotta perform some ritual or something, or this is a message from God, or however. That still doesn't explain the unknown officer situation. Did we got caught? What happened there? Well, like I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter where are we going, because police have some sort of lead to us. Now that we had another situation in episode 3, it really is interesting because Daniel used his powers on Cassidy as well, but she's not dead, thank God. The only way someone died in this situation were by the real bullets, which is also interesting and fascinating. So it makes me wonder, now that Merrill, if he's still alive in any way, shape or form, and with Big Joe's help, there is a high possibility of them giving police some sort of lead to us. We know that Sean will be on the road again. We don't know if he's gonna be with Daniel. We don't know if he's gonna meet Daniel anytime soon, but one thing we do know that Sean will be alone on the road in search of his little brother. And on top of the situation, the unknown officer thing makes it seem like we got caught. So what happened there? Well, there are a couple of ways we could go there. Number one, after the mess in episode 3 ending, police would finally capture Sean and the gang as in Merrill, Big Joe, Cassidy and Finn, and since Daniel was absent in the ending, it's more likely that he would end up with other people in the woods, Penny, Hannah, Jacob, and they might help him in leaving and eventually escaping to all together. But in doing so, Daniel would end up with Jacob and his church, aka his place in Nevada, eventually getting Sean captured by the police, hence police situation happened in episode 4 teaser. Number 2, Daniel is the one who got caught, and in order to get our brother back, we surrender ourselves to the authority. Now hear me out completely, it's not a completely horrible theory. Daniel is not the one who's criminal in police's eyes. In fact, they think Sean is the one who did the crime and kidnapped Daniel. So police is likely to use Daniel as a way to capture Sean. So as soon as we, Sean, get the sign that our brother is in custody but not completely, like in police car or truck or something, but not completely in jail, this is where the unknown officer's lines would come in. That's why he was forcing onto the fact that Sean is not in the jail yet, but he will eventually. Hence Daniel uses his powers again, finally reuniting with his brother and escaping and being on the road again, this time leaving their buddies such as Cassidy, Finn, Hannah and the group, and once again leaving another group behind. Remember, Daniel did say that he felt like he's letting everybody down, losing people every time he meets someone, this time leaving their group that they've worked alongside with for over a month. Hence, he would get all fuzzy because he would feel like he's letting everybody down because of Sean's decisions, and now it's time for him to take some decision, and obviously getting to Mom's is the only way in his head. He thinks she is the only one who can really take care of him and his brother. And number 3, Jacob's church and cult members, but not all. You see, just like Jacob, there's bound to be some people that are not that intense in religious stuff back at Nevada Heaven Point, and would recognize Daniel as Daniel Diaz, the kid who got kidnapped from Seattle incident. So without any ill intentions, they might help him by handing him to the authorities, and as soon as Sean gets to Nevada, it's likely that he'll learn about the situation, eventually ending up to the police to save his brother. But these are just some of many theories that could happen in episode 4. Big thanks to Life is Strange community for providing and helping in these ideas, the Life is Strange Discord server, Wolf Squad, and Reddit, and literally everyone. Thank you so much. But these were mixed of our interpretation of what could happen. I really want to know what you think of episode 4. Are you excited? What do you think? Make sure to let me know all of that good stuff down in the comments. As you can hear from my voice, I am still suffering from some sort of stuff. And remember, 15,000 subs and face cam videos. You really don't want to miss that, trust me. And I'll see you soon. Until then, take care of yourself and your family. Stay humble and be grateful, and peace.